at Media Day press conference for Jupiter. And Coach Mook, you can let us know who you are, what's your background, anything about you that you want to talk about, and maybe your coaching staff.
For me, I'm an actual Jupiter alumni. So I had my opportunity to come back, coach as an assistant coach, left, became a head coach at another school, was there for 7 years at Palm Beach Lakes, had the opportunity to come back to Jupiter, and then I had the opportunity to take over as head coach. And, honestly, I feel that we probably have the best coaching staff around. I know you probably hear that from a lot of programs, but I believe in the guys that I have that we've put together, and it's like a family. And what the greatest thing is that all those guys, really all the accolades I get is because of those guys and what they do with these players and what these players do. So our Jupiter family pretty much tries to run on one type of goal. And last year kind of proved that, especially with the two gentlemen next to me, Jake Garland, right, pitcher and first baseman, and then you got Mikey Robinson, my outfielder, who were big keys for last year, and then are going to be big keys this year.
So your team won the 9A state championship last year. What has it been like to bring a title back to your hometown?
It's surreal. It's great because Jupiter's never had that in baseball. Even the first time when we made it to the States, that was the first time ever that Jupiter baseball had made it there. And then let alone the players were able to perform and do what they did and win everything. It was awesome. And really, it's been kind of a weird ride, but the best moment was when we're on our football field and these guys got, and all the players, even the ones who graduated, got their rings. And just seeing the joy, just that accomplishment of what these players did, it was amazing.
Almost scripted like a Hollywood movie. You guys won 2 games on the same day, had a huge comeback late in the semifinal. Tell us a little bit about going through all that, how that was for you guys.
And these guys probably will tell you the same thing. How it started off in the season, we grinded, and it was that belief of you keep working until last out. And anything can happen. You just got to keep going at it. You can't defeat yourself on anything that happened wrong or you weren't successful in a game. It's just, hey, until they say that's it, ball game's over with. We kind of go with the motto of doesn't matter about the first game, second, middle game. What matters is that last game. If you win the last game, then your season's championship. I mean, it's one of those things. So yeah, these guys coming together. It was great. It's what I truly think baseball, a true championship team, that picking each other up. It didn't matter if you're full-time starter, part-time, whatever. You were a family. You played for one another. It didn't matter about anything else other than us. There was no me's, and that's what was amazing. And hopefully we keep it up.
Well, let's talk to the players a little bit. First, tell me about coming in with the mentality of defending a title. How is that for you guys?
It's like he said, it's surreal. Like you almost don't believe it. Like we overcame so much last year, and it was just an awesome moment to do what was needed and finish throughout what has always been a goal of ours, and get all that done.
I feel like we have a target on our back, especially, obviously everybody that you play wants to beat you, but I feel like they want to beat us more. Oh, we beat the 9A champions, makes you feel like a more earned win to beat us.
Which opponents are you guys most looking forward to playing this year?
Everyone on our schedule.
Everybody?
Everyone on our schedule.
Okay.
Douglas for me.
Douglas for you? Okay.
Who do you guys see as being the most difficult in your division, on that journey?
Palm Beach Central. They're gonna be the team to beat this year. And I think if there's one team to beat them, I think we got it. We got it for sure.
Yeah, because you got to win districts to move on. Well, you got to be the best 2 teams in districts to move on. So the one goal is not to have your last game in. You got to be the first 2 teams in that district to move on. And as Mike had said with Douglas, 3 years in a row we've played them in regional finals, and so hopefully we can make it 4 years in a row. And and as Jake said, every team you go, I mean, every team we put together and put on the schedule, we got to bring our A game.
It's not even so much just Douglas itself, it's the game and what it brings, like the energy and the high stakes at risk. I mean, every time we play them, there's always the most people we've seen in the stands, and it's just an awesome game that gets your adrenaline going. You'd love to play in it every single year. Some, fortunately, have been able to play in that the past 2 years and wouldn't want to miss out on it. It's an
It's a great
unbelievable
experience. Yeah.
And you got a great program, great players, great community. It's kind of like the same two communities going at it with two great programs. It's amazing.
So for Mike and Jake, you know, you guys now being upperclassmen, being seniors, right? What has it been like the off season different from the last year or the year before coming into this season? You know, maybe Coach Mook is counting on you guys more as leaders. You know, what has that transition been like for you guys?
I mean, we always have something to get better on. So like, even if it's just me or Mikey, like we each individually have something that we can do to get better. So it's not just about what we can do to make the team. Like, we still have to get better, but all along we have to gather up as a team itself and get better and figure out what we need to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think baseball is a very family and team sport. You can't do it without having each other's back. It's one of those things. It's like a group effort.
Are you guys counted on now maybe to kind of bring the freshmen, sophomores along a little bit, maybe almost as like assistant coaches, or are you guys being counted on more now?
I think so.
Got any spring break plans?
Playing baseball.
I mean, here, or are you traveling anywhere? Or you just
Well, we've done last couple of years to stay in.
Mhm.
We've done trips before, like, you know, Sanford has the tournament, and we've done some of those. But when you can put together good competition, stay home, makes it, you know, again, just where we can get. And then plus what I've done in the past is give the guys a little time off, because, you know, baseball's a long season.
oh yeah.
I know that you guys graduated some key players last season, and you know, when you have a great season like you guys had, and then some of those players now have moved on, what has that transition been like for the other players to step up, you know, as players and also, you know, as coaches?
I mean, we're right back where we were 2 years ago when we had some eight D1 commits or something like that graduate, and we thought we would never get back to where we were, but we still grinded every single day, came to practice and worked really, really hard every single day, and look where we ended up. We ended up winning it all. So I feel like if we still have that work mentality and go out every day and bust our asses, I think we'll be in good shape.
Any commits on the team this season?
We have a few. We've got University of Miami. We've got Furman. We've South Carolina Upstate. We're working on a couple for Palm Beach State and Indian River State College. So we've got some guys that, you know, are kind of falling in line and finding homes to take it to the next level.
You guys have a lot of times played a hard road schedule. You know, a lot of times you don't see too many teams taking on that type of challenge. How do you guys feel like that has helped you in terms of getting towards your ultimate goal, which last season you were able to attain? Like, talk about how those tough road games helped you.
I think playing the down south teams, Coach Mook always puts that schedule together because he knows those teams are great teams, and that's going to make us better as a unit.
Maybe battle tested you a little
Yeah.
bit, so when the time came, you knew what was coming.
Exactly.
Every time our schedule comes out, everyone just looks at us and says, "All that talent you guys lost, are you crazy? Like, what is your coach thinking?" It's all part of the plan.
It's about the last game you play. Records, throw them out the window.
Coach Mook, you know, we got to broadcast you guys last season, and you know, we saw you guys had a very scrappy team, a very hard-nosed team. Maybe you can talk about what you try to impart to your team in terms of the identity and personality that you're trying to exude out to the players, and you want them to give out.
Well, key word, scrappy, grind. You know, it's about taking a step forward, not backwards. You know, I'm all about, you know, you don't need a 3-4 hour practice. You can come in and do an hour practice. It's mainly you have a job to do, get it done. Don't try and try and do something to win it on your shoulders, because you've got everybody. You got 20, 25 on the roster, whatever you have on the roster. It's a family. You know, you might not like everybody in your family, But guess what? They're blood. They're your family. You're going to be there for them when it comes down to it. So I try and tell we come to work, we're ready, and it's fun. When you're working hard and you're being gritty, it's more, you should have fun. And that's the thing where there's nothing better when you're asked to sacrifice bunt, you bunt them over, and you get the person, and the next person behind you is keeping the line moving, and then we score that person. And then, or pitcher, maybe left something up in the zone, and then all of a sudden it's a deep fly, and outfielder makes an amazing play, or we pull up, an infielder makes an amazing play. It's about having each other's back. We go to work. We're warriors, and it's awesome that we're Jupiter Warriors, because that's kind of my motto, is being a warrior. Being one tribe and be a warrior.
Excellent. Well, I mean, how has media day been for you guys here today?
I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Sadly, I didn't get to participate. I'm just getting over the flu, so I'm kind of taking it easy, getting my strength back. But
He's not contaminated.
That's okay.
Maybe we could also, coach and players too, talk about the strengths of this team. You had certain strengths to your team last season. Some of those players are now gone. There becomes this metamorphosis or a change in style. Where do you see your best strengths this season? Is it with your pitching? Is it with your defense? Is it with your camaraderie? Like, what is it that you see as your biggest strengths this season?
I mean, I'll go first and see what they want to add into it. Honestly, we can look on paper for strength and weaknesses. And if you look on paper for us, we return a lot of pitchers who logged in a lot of innings, and looks on paper that we're strong pitching. You can look on paper that defense, we've got certain areas that we returned and look strong, certain areas that we got new guys coming in, offense, but that's on paper. We're going to find out once games start going and as season starts going, and honestly, it's what we're going to have to work on. On strength for our pitching, yes, on paper we look strong on pitching, but we can't rely on that. We got to rely on all areas. And so I think our true strength is what I've seen so far in tryouts and in practice that we've had, is the mentality that we ended up last year with as a family and working together, picking each other up, showing up early, maybe staying late. That mentality has carried over, and that's a new tradition, a new attitude that's what we've bred in, and that's what I think is awesome. I mean, there's nothing better when I show up after I'm teaching class and I've got all my guys there and they're doing all their jobs, and then they're not just hanging out in the dugout, and they want it, and they want to do it for one another, and that's, I think, our true strength. And the other areas of the game, with you of that strength and have that grit and that grind, everything else is going to come around because they're going to work for it, and we all need to get better.
I guess that's a great place to leave it. I wish you guys great success in this season, and we want to thank you guys for coming in today. And
Thank you.
We'll see you guys back out on the ball field.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.